man, that did not sound like all 6 cylinders.
Not at all. As we wait the next cab off the rank in the Superlight A category, the UTVs, the naturally aspirated.
This is the third. This is the first, actually, beg your pardons, of the Can-Am Mavericks, the Rotax. This is Scott and Sonia Henshin from Queensland.
Getting through them now.
Yeah, now they're starting to really push through.
And that dust is just hanging out there again. It's,
yeah.
It's not looking very pretty for some of these drivers.
Hard work, wouldn't it be? But I suppose that's you come to expect that.
We haven't seen the last of our production full drive cars come into the arena as yet. The 711 of Tim Margetich and Tom Margetich from South Australia in the Land Rover. Unsure if they have actually stopped out on the track. Can't tell you that from our position in the commentary tower. Hope everything is A-OK with them and they can make it back and record a time here on Saturday morning at the Tatts Finke Desert Race start line. It is prologue day. We've got a huge day of racing coming up and a huge amount of the Superlight A category buggies, as we've just seen Mitchell Cross and Chris Cahill from Queensland get off the line in their Polaris. Sorry, that was Andrew. No. Yes, it was Andrew Crammond. Sorry, from Victoria with Samuel Crammond and Sophie Crammond. So it looks like a family affair there. The guys and girls from Victoria in the Superlight A category, the Polaris RZR 1000. So you can determine with the Superlights, the naturally aspirated versions have the 66 at the start of their number. So 6636 is the next car to get the green light, and a very slow start. Not sure what's happened there. He might be waiting for one more minute. Yeah, it looks like Daniel Friskin from New South Wales was meant to be the next UTV off the line, but he doesn't seem to be there. We have Timothy Dewhurst and Timothy Scott, so the two Tims in the G-Shock sponsored UTV. The Polaris RZR 1000 will be the next one off the start line here for prologue day on Saturday, as we wait for the first of the Superlight A category buggies to come through. That you can see them coming down through that new whoop section over to the left hand side if you're looking out onto the track. No, sorry, there is one in the arena. He's coming into that sweeping high banked left hand turn. He's got about 2 corners to go, and we'll see just how good the Superlight A's are timing up against William Willis's time of 6 minutes and 1 second. He is the leader so far in the the Sportsman buggy. 6 minutes and 1, getting him a 44th overall in prologue last year. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with times this year. The track is a lot smoother, so it's going to be a lot quicker for these smaller buggies, especially the UTVs, as we see the JGR Superlight A come across the line. We'll check his time out when it pops up. 6 minutes and 33 seconds. So Sislowski combo in the RZR drop into third place there behind Jeff Pickering in second and William Willis in first. The next Superlight off the line, the 6660, a very nice looking UTV. I very much so like the paint job on that one. That's Dean Terry from WA with Jordan Terry in the passenger seat, or the navigator seat. He'll be keeping a close eye on how the UTV is running over the weekend, as we see Jason Neat come across the line. 6 minutes 19, so he slots into second position overall so far this morning, and first in class, so a good run from him. Of course, third outright third in class last year was Jason Neat in his Polaris RZR. A lot of Polarises you'll see in this class, the Superlight A class, which is the naturally aspirated versions of the UTVs. And you'll see a lot of the new Yamahas, the brand new Yamahas that they've bought out this year. Yamaha putting in a huge effort at this year's Tatts Finke Desert Race. They had a massive stand down at scrutineering last night, if you were here, and checked them out. I'm sure they good run from him. Of course, third outright on display down there. Good effort by Yamaha to bring a whole lot of UTVs here.
2 minutes to 7. It is officially
He's
race day number 1. Welcome to the Tatts Finke Desert Race for 2017. I'm your host, Ben Bishop, joined by my co-commentator, Matt Henderson. Just a little bit chilly.
It is extremely chilly outside and extremely warm inside our commentary position. So we are very lucky to have the view that we do from here. And we get to see all the cars take off from the start-finish line this morning on their way down to Finke. Of course, starting off first this morning, Travis Robinson and Trent Anthony, all the way from Western Australia. Went quick time yesterday, Saturday, prologue day, with a time of 4 minutes and 50 seconds. He's going to get the race underway at 7:15. Benny, what do you think he could be thinking right now?
It'll be just a case of, man, this has played exactly into my hands and exactly what I want. Absolutely no dust to breathe, despite the fact that it'll be a little bit moist out there with a bit of dew coming through, but it'll still stir up pretty quickly, and it'll be interesting to watch just how much dust gets stirred up, even though it's early morning. So, Travis Robinson, wow, he is going to... this is the best opportunity he's had in all of his Finke campaigns now to really stamp his authority on this this event. And we want to say a big hello to everybody watching in for the start of this on our live stream around the world on finkedesertrace.com.au. Big hello to all of our supporters in NT Major Events, Lassiter's, Impaja, Alice Springs Town Council, and Forex Gold. Oh, we're up live. Hello, thank you. Nothing like having a producer in your cans to tell you.
That was me. That was the tap.
Oh, is that how it works? Well, yes. We've got these babies happening. That's how that works.
That is extremely embarrassing.
Yeah, see, I don't have to do this.
But we are in a sealed room. There's
hey,
windows
but I
all
had
the
to
way
make
around.
it into the room.
We've even got a cheeky little heater under the desk.
You've got a cheeky little heater that's pointing right at your feet at the moment. So, yeah, we're well and truly rugged up, but it's nice and chilly. I tell you who's got the coldest job in everybody out here. It's the lady just out the front who is telling people where to go with their car parks. Oh. And, man, she is freezing the balls off a billiard player at the moment out there. It's pretty full on.
But doing a fantastic job.
As do all of our volunteers. It's just phenomenal.
If we look out our left-hand side window onto the Finke sign on the roof, it's almost a bit icy, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And that was the warning that came up in the little Mitsubishi ASX this morning.
Nice.
Caution, icy roads. So, yeah, not sure there's too many icy roads on this 240k course this morning. So 1 minute intervals between them. Travis Robinson will lead off. Shannon Wrench, then Jack Rhodes, Bo Robinson, Greg Gartner, Brad Gallard, and Toby Price, Chris Coulthard, Andrew Moles, Mark Burrows will be your top 10. And then our reigning champion, Glenn Owen, has got a lot of work to do to win that back from there. So
you can see on the big screen at the moment the top 10 with our new profiles flicking through as we speak. What a fantastic idea.
They were. Is that one of your ideas?
Yes, it is actually. No,
actually, you can't claim it?
No. As we see down on the grid, our grid ambassadors lining up with, of course, Lisa Marie Ryan, ready to sing the national anthem in approximately 2 minutes' time, and then in approximately 12 minutes' time, we'll see the first of the buggies, on their way down the Finke Desert Race track.
Unlike a lot of other motorsports where I'd have no hesitation taking a radio mic down and sticking it in the helmet of these guys and just saying, how you're feeling and all that. This is sort of a little bit different. They have so got to be focused. They've so got to be in the zone that you just wouldn't want to interrupt them. You'll notice that there's not really anyone speaking to any of the drivers at the moment because it's just completely about focus time, getting in the zone. And the reality is, these guys, they're trying to find that balance between get as much sleep as possible so you're alert as possible, yet don't want to wake up too late so that your mind's not completely functioning yet. Good protein breakfast, try and get the brain totally in function so you're in the zone, because you know what it's like. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You can wake up one morning and be in the zone and wake up the next and not know the difference why. And you can only hope that when you wake up on race day, you're just clicking. You're in that zone and you know exactly what the job you've got to do. You're not sort of feeling hazy. You're not feeling sort of out of the zone. And hopefully everybody, at least in that top 10, right through the top 20, would have that ability right now, because they're about to get the shock of their life and probably shock them into the zone if they haven't already got themselves prepared. Good to see the grid ambassadors there all lined up, ready to go. Thanks to Tatts and also to Asbuild.
Of course, Travis Robinson on pole position is going to have the best run on the way to Finke. He's got absolutely no dust from any other competitor, so a massive advantage for him. We spoke yesterday during the prologue that the shadows and the low light will be affecting him as we going to cross down to the start-finish line for the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Come on, Alice Springs. Get your hands together. That is a wonderful rendition of the Australian National Anthem, and we are only 10 minutes away as we get a shot now of Travis Robinson and Trent Anthony, the Jimco buggy, BF Goodrich on board, and just going through the motions. That first corner, pitching it right, rehearsing that prologue track in reverse for the first section at least, as the grid ambassadors get ready in formation to bring through the countdown cards. We're not far away, and man, I'm not even driving and I can feel the nervous energy.
Absolutely, these guys will be getting super nervous and super pumped up and trying to do everything they can to get themselves ready for the long 226 kilometre journey down to Finke. But we might talk about some of the other classes that might not be at the front of the grid this morning on their way to Apachula. Obviously, the Pro Buggy. Travis Robinson leading the class for the Pro Buggies. And the Pro Lights, Andrew Moles from the Alice Springs. He's leading the charge for the Pro Lights with Cracker Coldy Racing. Sam Barnes in second position in the Pro Lights and Matthew Martin third. In the Super 1650 Buggies, Limited Options Racing, All G Racing, and Scrubcat, the top three for the Super 1650s. The Sportsman Buggy, Class 3, William Willis is leading the times for them, the only one of the cars in that class. In the Performance 2-wheel drive, Mr. Sheet Metal, Michael Ranson and Jay Davidson, the only guys in their class. They're leading the charge for the P two-wheel drives. In the extreme two-wheel drives, Bo Robinson, who will start fourth on the grid this morning, leading the charge with Greg Gartner and Brad Gallard leaving directly after him. In the production four-wheel drive category, the Class 7 cars, Jeff Pickering racing with Dylan Watson leading the charge there in their Mitsubishi Pajero. I believe they're just dropping the kids off and they'll be out here to start their race
Absolutely out
very
of the Pajero.
shortly. The Clayton's towing entry of Jody Allen and Brandon Taylor. And the FJ Cruiser in leaving second in class, and the 4-play 4x4 racing, Ben Nixon and John Harkness in the Nissan Patrol. They finished third in class last year. They're starting third in class this year. On their way down to Finke this morning, Carnage Racing leading the Extreme Fall drives. Mark Reynolds and Andrew Caulfield second in class in their Jeep. And Stephen Kidley and Chris Jones in the Chevrolet Silverado third in the Extreme Full Drive class. In the Superlight A, the naturally aspirated version of the UTVs, Jake Williams and Aidan Williams from Victoria in the Yamaha, Dean Terry and Jordan Terry in the Polaris in second, and Jason Neat and Peter Neat in the Polaris are in third position for the Superlight A's. And in the Superlight B's, the turbocharged version, Toby Watley and Simon Herman lead the class with Tony Watley and Doug Carthew from South Australia in the Can-Am in second, and Phil Lovett, the third of the Can-Ams, with Alan Samuels in the Navigator seat, are in third position. And the Sportslight, the only Sportslight buggy, Christopher Sollett, will lead first for the Sportslight category this morning. Benny, it's all getting real. The sun is just starting to poke its head over the ranges to the east, and we are 5 minutes away.
The card has just gone up as we get a great shot there of the steely-eyed gaze of Shannon Wrench, the BF Goodrich-backed Hog's Breath entry, coming off second. Four-time champion. Two back-to-back, then a little bit of a break, and then another two. And it's fair to say, well, that's a wonderful shot, isn't it? It's fair to say that hasn't had it all his own way in the last few years, and really, I don't know, I get that impression from Shannon Wrench that he's probably just a little bit more determined than what I even picked up on last year. He's, I don't know, just got that little bit of a competitive edge that maybe, you know, he's such a nice bloke, and this year I very much picked up a no mucking around, we're here to win this thing, let's make it happen.
Well, he hates missing out, and he missed out last year, so
yeah,
he's going to be doing everything he can this year to put it on the top step. There is one lucky number 13 that is in front of him and stopping him from doing that at the moment, but he'll be pushing and doing all he can this morning, albeit in quite a lot of dust, especially the first 50 to 60 kilometres, Benny, before they get to Deep Well, is extremely tough for these cars this morning. We spoke to Glenn Orick yesterday. We've got the bull dusty silt type material that they're going to travel through a lot, especially in this first 30 kilometres, and that stuff is just going to hang there. There's going to be absolutely no
wind
chance
whatsoever.
No wind and no chance for them to see.
Righto. I can feel it as we take that long shot down what will double as the start and the finishing straight. Today it launches them. Tomorrow it welcomes them home. The question will be, who will be the first one to get the nod? The 3-minute board is up. Thanks to our grid ambassadors, with the Alice Springs Mayor, Damien Ryan, just in the front of shot there, who's been a part of this since its inception.
Gary Butterfield with him, holding the time clock. One of our Finke heroes, a long-standing volunteer. Him and his wife Lynn do an amazing amount of work for this race. They camp here over the weekend. They camp here in the leading weeks up to the event, Benny, and without them, honestly,
wouldn't happen. Hey?
Wouldn't happen.
Great to have 8HA, your station, 900 AM on board to keep everybody right down the length of the course, up to speed with any breaking news that comes through, and we'll try and keep you up to date through our systems today where everybody sits.
2 minutes.
As we can. 2-minute board is up. Also a massive thanks to Impaja, UBET, the Northern Territory Correctional Services, Forex Gold, Central Comms, Alice Springs as we get set.
Hot air balloons in the distance, ready to welcome the first of the buggies off the line as they head out the back gate of the start-finish line precinct. Travis Robinson, first time that he ended up in Finke first was in 2010 in the time of 1 hour and 46. He'll be looking to do something very similar this morning. Put himself in a good position for this year's Tatts Finke Desert Race.
As one of the last things to happen is the taking away the number boards. Ready. Everyone knows where they're parked. It's just a matter now of getting away. Flag at the ready. The very unique Northern Territory flag, as the red light is still waiting there. The phones, you can see the phones along the side with the crowd. And for those of you who are not holding phones, we encourage you to send Trav Robinson and Trent Anthony off with a big round of applause and a cheer for this very keen crowd. We are into amber light mode. As you can hear the revs starting to build.
Flashing ambers.
Green lights, we are away for the Tatts Finke Desert Race for 2017. Aggressive start for Robinson as he goes out wide, pulls it in, and starts this whole baby. And look at that setting. The hot air balloons just start to rise up, ready for the best view. And that little bit of a ski jump just unsettles him as he heads off into the distance. The moon riding high as Shannon Wrench now has to get rid of all of that nervous energy and focus on the task ahead.
A solid minute. It is one of the longest minutes in your racing career, I tell you what. Sitting there waiting for your time to go. We are amber. What a great shot there of the 33 BF Goodrich entry underneath the start line banner.
Man, waste no time. That's pretty much a drag racing like reaction time from Shannon Wrench, and he knows that every hundredth of a second matters.
As we see Travis Robinson exiting the stadium section now, Shannon Wrench will be able to see that. He wants to make up as much time as he can through this section that is, well, has some water or moisture in the dirt. He wants to make up as much time here as he can before he gets into that dust that we've spoken about. Extremely difficult to see. Look at that shot of Travis Robinson taking off down that long straight before he heads out the back gate of the precinct.
Maybe it's just me, maybe it's the lines that he chose, but Shannon Wrench just looked like he wanted it just a little bit more. It's tough, isn't it? When you're the first guy out there, you want to set a pace that you're not catchable, but man, Shannon Wrench has just got that rabbit, and he is the greyhound, 1 minute ahead. The Peter Kittle Motor Company entry, Jack Rhodes and David Paulino, the South Australians. Man, wringing the neck of that thing. The current Australian champion in full flight at the moment. As the sun starts to really appear over the top of the range. Beautiful setting for Australia's fastest desert race. And one that we've learned this weekend talking to our American visitors and British visitors that there is nothing quite like this race anywhere in the world. Not this harsh, not this brutal. Just the track surface alone is really surprising the likes of our American visitors.
The first of the extreme two-wheel drives about to get there. Race underway. Bo Robinson with Shane Hutt from New South Wales in the navigator seat. Have a listen to that thing take off.
Yeah, it just sounds fantastic, doesn't it?
So the second of the OBR cars are underway. Heading south this morning. They're going to make up a whole lot of time through the rough stuff on the buggies ahead of them. That's what they're designed for.
Taking it very wide out of that first berm. Looks like the track's been manicured just a little bit, more than just some water. Wonder if Glenn Orict has maybe had the grader out, potentially. Bo Robertson away, Greg Gartner, the South Australian. The Gartner family all around Panola, the Mount Gambier area. And I use the term wringing its neck, man. That goes to a new level. Look at the way that thing's sitting up at the front, laying down at the back. Ready for that front end to make contact with some of the most aggressive square edges. They say that the first section of the track is okay, but that second half is brutal compared to previous years. The RJ Batteries entry now. Yeah, wow, that's tidy. Greg Gartner in fine form. He's the old school. He probably wakes up at 4 in the morning, has his coffee and toast. He is well and truly in the zone. Just another day in the office for him as we focus our eyes on Brad Gallard, the 454. Every time I say that, it feels like that I'm referring to him having a big block in there. Labouring off the line. It's exactly how he started his routine yesterday. He just took it easy, didn't get too much tyre spin on the wet surface, and then as soon as he got past the sprinklers, just pushed the throttle down a little bit more. And after coming from 19th to 2nd last year, with 4 wheels under him this time, the former Finke Desert Race 5-time champion on a bike and runner-up last year, Toby Price, with Luke Hendry on board. The Geyser brothers, 6-litre Chev, and you can hear that thing. Really liking the Mitsubishi body on it too. The grille looking the goods. I'd like to lay down a $5 bet that that beautiful chrome grille doesn't look so chrome once we see it tomorrow. It is just mind-blowing to think that this guy can be so good on a bike and then so naturally gifted in a car with a steering wheel in his hands rather than handlebars. It really is phenomenal. So Toby Price, can he go one better this year? Pretty wide on that occasion, cutting a new path, and I guess figuratively and physically, that is exactly what he's doing.
And he's got such an advantage on a lot of these car guys. He's been up and down that track so many times on a bike, training. So he just knows every single corner on the way down to Finke.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you'd have to think that as a bike rider, you'd know it a little bit more intimately. You've seen it. You can see it, that desert surface so much more intricately.
The former local Chris Coulthard and Robert Hawker from WA away in their Chev 6-litre Jimco buggy, the number 88. Great prologue time for them yesterday, starting out at 8th this morning. That guy is a serious peddler, and he can push all the way down to Finke. He really can pedal one of these Jimco buggies. But
man, I'd love to see a split time just on this opening section because, man, I think that Chris Coulthard is probably getting through there quicker than anybody we've seen so far. Aggressive start.
Some great shots coming through our feed onto the live stream and onto the big screen here at the venue.
No colour treatment on that photo either. That is exactly what it's like out there, that beautiful red glow across the field.
Next up, first of the pro lights. And another local, Andrew Moles, in the 135. Sid Chrome entry is away.
Some Northern Territorians that, just like the bike section, the chances of having two Northern Territorians winning, it's a big, big ask, but my word, wouldn't this town erupt?
Well, we do still class Jack Rhodes as a Territorian.
Yeah, that's true.
Born here, raised here.
There'd be a fight on for those naming rights, wouldn't there? Should he be the first person across the line? Speaking of first people across the line, he's just come up onto the grid, but he's first got to wait another extra minute. I speak of Glenn Owen, who's coming outside of the top 10, and Mark Burrows stole that last space off him. Mark Burrows from Victoria, Colin Hodge from New South Wales. 3.5 litre Holden on board. Very, very tidy and hardly getting off the gas at all as he just gets over that ski jump, unsettles the car a little bit and gets back on the gas to get around the first berm. And they just keep coming.
Have a look at the lineup down to the end of the shoot here.
Now we move into the 30 seconds apart. That could be exactly what Glenn Owen wants, just to get that psychological edge to be tapping on the back of Mark Burrows as quick as he possibly can.
Next up from Far North Queensland, Michael Marson, the General Tyres Racer Engineering buggy. I like these Racer Engineering cars.
A little bit of rooster power on board. JB Automotive from up in Ayr in North Queensland. Man, he is not getting off that thing at all. Engine issues last year.
Engine issues last year. He's come back. Had it sorted. Next up, 2 times champion Hayden Bentley has come from 13th position to win the event before.
Yeah, good observation. All the way from Port Pirie in South Australia. That's probably the clearest indication of brake taps that we've seen so far from Hayden Bentley, the former champ. Sam Barnes.
Next up, the Cracker Goldie Racing.
My co-commentator was giving me a tap here, and I didn't really know why. We just do love the name of this team, and they are just out for it. This is I think their 12th attempt, they told us, so it's outstanding. A Road Tech Marine entry.
A cool shot here on the grid next with the 2 Jaws racing cars, of course, in the Jaws buggy all the way from America. Matt Lloyd Ace, the Jimco president, gets his first Finke Desert race underway.
Ooh. It's like trying to clear its throat or something. That is not what you want to hear on the first straight of 240 kilometres.
Absolutely not.
What is going on there?
They were working on the car frantically yesterday, so I'm not sure if they had a few dramas. Hopefully we see that car come back into the start-finish line tomorrow.
His teammate and his host for this weekend, and I guess what started out firstly as his customer, Steve Sanderson, away now in the trophy truck, but the guy ahead of him is the guy who owns the company of the buggy that he's in.
And we have historically seen Steve Sanderson make up a whole lot of places on the way down and back from Finke.
Yeah.
I think he started as low as 27th last year and ended up putting it inside the top 10. So
it's impressive stuff, isn't it?
Watch out for him tomorrow.
Method Race Wheels entry. Ryan Taylor. So much has happened in the last 12 minutes. Taylor away. David Fellows next up in the Geyser Brothers Trophy truck. Greg Rhodes and Mark Bergerman in his support. Another Peter Kittle-backed entry.
And the most winningest driver/navigator in Finke Desert Race history.
Oh.
6 times, 5 as a driver, 1 as a navigator. Wow, I like the look of this undecided racing.
Yeah.
But next up, Bryce Chapman in the runner mark racing. Number 58 from New South Wales.
And that's how your buggy's supposed to sound. Just very concerned for Matt Laodice. Just wonder if we're going to see him come through to the first checkpoint after that noise. Sometimes you feel like if you can clear the throat of the thing, it'll just sort of start actioning. And anyway,
next up, Ryan Agrila from WA with Stuart Allen in the navigator seat. That Jimco 2000 series, 3.5 litre Nissan twin turbo. It was a cool looking car.
Yeah, decent, very very nice. I noticed you checking your hair in the side stickers today, actually, before we started. Talbot Cox and Andrew North. Double Queensland combination, the Racer Engineering Carbon Series Toyota V8. The familiar V8 Toyota sound. Matthew Martin and Kerry Martin are next to go.
Third of the Pro Light buggies. A few positions to catch up on Cracker Coldy and Andrew Moles.
Just never stops making me smile, the name of that team.
And I'm going to drop that name as much as I can.
There we go. So Matt and Kerry Martin are away right on that 7-minute 30 mark. 7:30 mark. 15 minutes in to what will be more than a 2-hour journey. Paul White and Katie Schroeder away. Queensland combo and the Get Performance 2010 model buggy. No Limits Racing off into, well, the expression is off into the sunset. This time it's off into the sunrise. Rod Visser and the Illumicraft Stadium Pro Light. The first of our single-seaters, I think. All on his lonesome. And now from Orange County, California, undefeated in the Desert Series in the USA, and a big welcome to our US friends watching in. In the Luke Ayres Tatum Chev, it's Harley Lettner from Corona, California, the Hercules Tires entry.
A quick update from our good friend and 2 times King of the Desert, Rick Hall. He just rang me. He's about at the 30-kilometre bonnet. He said that Travis Robinson is roughly 2 minutes in front of Shannon Wrench, so he's pulled another minute on him through that dust. And then just as I was getting off the phone to him, Jack Rhodes come through, and he said that he was definitely the fastest through that section. Jack Rhodes. So Jack Rhodes, a man on a mission, but still in 3rd position as we speak. So the top 3 haven't changed through the 30-kilometre bonnet as we see. Another one of the locals, Brett Taylor, get away in his Jimco trophy truck, Extreme 2-wheel drive.
The Central Desert Transport entry, that really smick-looking little race car there, the Loose Cannon Racing. And that just really fascinates me because you would never have picked that based on the way they got off the line.
Yeah, so obviously that dust in the first 20, 30 kilometres has really had an effect on Shannon Wrench. So
makes it very, very difficult, doesn't it? Wow. And by the smallest of margins.
You mentioned Harley Lettner a couple of cars ago. I noticed they had a few dramas in Prologue. Well, we noticed they had a few dramas in Prologue. I see they put on social media last night they had attempted to fix them all up, and they were hoping to get it sorted for the rundown today is Bruce Muir in the Holden Commodore Class 4 Extreme 2-wheel drive. The We Us and Co entry. We Us and Co.
It's the name you come up with when you can't decide on a business name, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Muir and Hendry, probably the most Australian entry so far. Holden power and Holden bodied, Holden chassis, well, Australian chassis at least. Peter Costello, not our former treasurer, and Ben Brooks, Northern Territorians.
Both former top 10 bike riders.
Decided to put some roll bars around them, and no one's going to argue with them on that. Some West Australians in Troy Schoen, Chris Harper, the Race Tech Pro. 6-litre Chev powered car number 19. CCR hose and fittings on board. Tell you what, starting to warm up a little bit up here. It's almost time to take the gloves off. Heaven forbid.
I'm almost thinking to take the jacket off.
Really, that far?
Yeah.
Gosh.
We might crack the window and get a bit of airflow.
Crack the window or crack a coldie?
You've dropped it again.
The Weirs, the Northern Territorians, Lockie, Paddy and Jack. Not sure who's on board for navigation on the way down. Lockie will be at the wheel. Unless they toss the coin. Is that how it works?
Well, it could be paper, scissors, rock.
And this is the way to spend your marriage. Jason and Jane Adami. Oh, I love that thing. It just sounds so aggressive. How to impress your wife. Take her on a 240-kilometre Sunday morning drive. Nice, smooth drive.
Absolutely, and one of those things will be extremely smooth.
What do you want to do tomorrow, love? I reckon we'll go for a drive. Just go and see some of the Northern Territory outback.
Next up, the first of the Superlights, Toby Watley, getting underway.
What have you done for me lately?
Wouldn't have even noticed that he had gone if we weren't watching.
No, that's so true. So quiet compared to everything else, isn't it? So we've got a very blank white screen here with our checkpoints on it. And we're just waiting for a name to click over there. From what we've heard from Rick Hall, the two-time champion, who's about 30 kilometres down the trail. Something in the order of 2 minutes difference between Robinson and Wrench at the moment, which really is quite surprising this early in. But he did make mention that the South Australian former Northern Territorian and Jack Rhodes was actually the fastest through that section when we spoke to him on the phone. So waiting for something to click up as the orange lights flicker again. It's the second of the Watley entries. The Can-Am Maverick X3, 1000cc Rotax on board. We missed Scott and Michelle McNeil getting away too, the New South Welshman.
We are looking for the time of about 30 minutes to get to Deep Wells, so according to that, we are around 8 minutes away from seeing the first car through the first checkpoint.
Chris Browning, beg your pardon, Chris Clark. Yet another Pro Light. Lumicraft 2013 chassis there with 3.5 litres of Nissan for our American guests.
And a lot of American interest in this race this weekend, of course, with two of their favourites over here racing for the first time. The Tatts Finke Desert Races, 3 times King of the Desert Bike Champion, Phil Lovett.
And one of the funniest guys in the pits too.
Absolutely. The class clown, I think I called him yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call too. What a champion, Phil Lovett.
Away in that Hunter Valley Motorsports entry. Spoke to him during the week. He was very impressed with the new car. Brand new car for this year, and he was very impressed after doing some track time during the week.
Longer wheelbase than what he ran last year, was it?
I believe so. The
Yeah.
new cars are a bit longer.
The Northern Territory with the Heinzels. The Southern Cross Mark 5 with another 3.5 litre Nissan. See, Nissan need to almost get on board with sponsorship of this event, don't they? There's so many of their power plants out there.
The VQ35, a very popular engine amongst the off-road community.
Gosh, it's just such a beautiful territory setting. You know how last year you asked me to make a list of things that we should adjust for next year? Well, I did that, and all of those things got done. The only thing that didn't get done was I do believe that I wrote Matt Henderson to clean the commentary box windows. How did that go?
I think I rubbed it out after you wrote it.
Yes, indeed. Alan Dixon and John O'Connor away from grid 39, so we are up to grid 40 now.
Shane Elphinstone and Kurt Elphinstone in the whole shot buggy. Oh, Australian built. The whole shot buggy from WA, the number 44. And that is a mean sounding machine.
You'd have to take something like that down to Finke when you just to listen to it all day, if nothing else. Even if you had a bad day, just listening to that would be good enough. Gosh, that sounded nice.
A few guys not starting this morning. Billy Geddes, Michael Napier in the Pro Buggy 68, and Matt Hansen, number 7, popping up onto our screen at the moment, just letting us know that they won't be taking their part like Dylan Blake is. Ooh, as Dylan Blake takes off in the Ford Ranger, the second of the Loose Cannon Motorsport entries from right here in Alice Springs. The 450 machine, well on his way, and that
I was about to say, that was a great speed shot. Second of the Loose Cannon cars, as we have cracked the 40th grid. Move on to grid 42 now. Tim Pickford, Adrian Vandersloot, the Sapphire Spars, SparNet Spar Controls, Sapphire off-road racing entry.
That was a mouthful, and you did it well. So
imagine
Tim
if it was
Pickford,
Kenny Callender. Sapphire. Spars. Yeah, no, it wouldn't go so
So
well
there's
with
the Vandersloot that I was wondering about yesterday with the bikes, but I think it's different first name.
Yes, right. Yeah, that would be correct.
The number 26 up next as we sort ourselves out. Up here, the Monk Racing Team, Damien and Nathan Monk in the Southern Cross Mark 5 buggy. Number 26, they're on their way, navigating the first corner. And that ski jump that's got a couple of people a little bit out of shape. Some great shots coming through on the live stream at finkdesertrace.com.au, and of course on the big screen here at the venue. Another one of the super light category machines. Nathan Shivers and Scott O'Connor. All Can-Am so far too for the Superlights.
It's about to change. Michael Ranson and Jay Davidson in the Mitzi Triton. The LS1 on board. Try and keep it simple with the old LS1. What a revolution the LS engines have been. More and more motorsport classes around the world are just going, let's just go LS, just keep it simple. It's V8, that's all we need. Not too over the top power-wise, but then just so manageable as well. So they're away, and you were just making mention of all Can-Ams. The Superlight B is upon us. The Cody Crocker, Greg Folletta, Nathan Wright, Polaris RZR XP Turbo
on their way. So we're just still waiting for that first car to pop up on the timing screen to be through the first checkpoint for the morning. It is 7:42 a.m. We'll be expecting them somewhere around the 7:44 to 7:45 a.m. time as the 83 gets underway. That's the Pro Buggy of Peter Scarza and David Cook, the Feral Gen 1 6-litre Chev. Starting this morning from grid 47. Next up on grid 48, The 601, the reigning class champions for the AORC series. Jeff McNiven and Andrew Reid. Another one of the Can-Am Turbos.
Now we're getting our first chance to look across the grassed spectator field. Fair to say there's a decent frost there.
No frost up here, though.
Only in our relationship, that's right.
Angus McKay
Greg Hicks.
and Greg Hicks in the Honda-powered Jimco 2000, the 182 machine. Another one of the Pro Lights, and a nice-looking livery on that car.
Speaking of great liveries, Peter Carr, the fast car, Can-Am X3, Matt Wyndham, New South Welshman. I thought part of my contract was that I don't ever have to say anything about New South Welshmen at all during the broadcast.
There was a clause at the bottom of that, which you obviously missed.
That was on the basis of only if they lost.
So the fast car away. I just wanted to wait because he did not back off. I didn't want to say a thing.
Just let him scream that thing out. Polaris RZR 1000 XP of Brad Hancock, Gordon Fletcher and Jeffrey Hancock. About to leave the line.
As we are awaiting the timing to tell us where the first car is.
Waiting for something to flick up on that screen. Chris Sollett is about to be locked into solitary confinement.
In the Solidico buggy.
That's where I was heading, but you've just overstated it. I was trying to keep it understated.
There we go. First car through deep well. 7:44 and 43 seconds. So just under the 30-minute time bracket. Travis Robinson and Trent Anthony still in the lead through deep well. We'll wait to see now how long it is before the next car is through.
David Bird, the next one to head out. Northern Territory in the Chev Trophy Truck. It's car number 433. Extreme two-wheel drive category. So sound nice and throaty. Oh, yes. So we're up to grid 54 now. Declan Cummins and Patrick Philp. The Lothringer buggy with the Honda on board. 1.6. We are still on schedule beautifully. Man, it just runs like a well-oiled machine, this event. 42 years of history. They've pretty much experienced every scenario that can be offered up in desert racing and have it covered. Phenomenal voluntary team here. As Declan Cummins and Patrick Philp get away.
The first of the Super 1650 buggies.
Another pro comes to the line with Brett Lewis and Robert Frost in the Superboot RV2 Mitsubishi. 2.4. That's a cool looking little bus, isn't it?
Neat little car there.
Do you reckon we'd ever do this?
I don't think we'd be able to decide who's going to drive and who's going to navigate.
Well, I'd make that decision for you.
Yes, I think I have the same opinion.
That's the whole problem right there.
Yeah. Nathan Dennis and Naaman Morse have no trouble in deciding who's driving this car as Nathan Morse gets it off the line. Another one of the Class B Superlight entries. As we are still awaiting the second car through deep well. Yet to pop up on the timing screen. So 29 minutes and 30 seconds.
There it is. No, yes, no.
No.
Just saw a flicker out of my peripheral vision.
29 minutes and 30 seconds for Travis Robinson to get to deep well. So a very quick time there.
It's Greg Campbell, Alison Campbell on a romantic drive down to Apachula. A Can-Am Maverick X3 with a Rotax power on board. Which means Matt Gardner and Levi Saliba are up in the Extreme four-wheel drive. Mitsubishi Pajero.
bro.
Yeah, that did sound a bit Māori, didn't it? The way I said that. Mitsubishi Pajero. Remember, anything that you're taking a photo of or any comments you're making on Twitter, make sure you hashtag it Fink17 to be a part of the overall conversation and photo gallery that we're putting together. There was over 1,500 photos just in the first day, or leading up into the first day, so no doubt that's got to probably triple. And how cool would that be to have 4,000 to 5,000 photos as part of that album? So Fink17 is your hashtag as Mick Crossland and Steve Wood head away from New South Wales, the Can-Am Maverick, the Rotax, just short of 1,000 cc's on a board. Nice hop, skip and a jump over the ski jump.
It has been over 4.5 minutes since
Oh yeah, that's
Travis
true.
Robinson's gone through Deep Wells, so
Wow.
just waiting to see what has happened here on the timing screen, whether we're...
See, that could mean...
Well, it could mean that our transponder is working. 7:49.06. Shannon Wrench, the second car through Deep Wells, so some 5 minutes behind when Travis Robinson went through in a time of 32.53 for the four-time champion. So he is the second car through, but he's 3.5 minutes behind the time of Travis Robinson.
Which is amazing, isn't it? Because we were thinking that, if there's going to be this much gap, then maybe Shannon's pulled over and we're going to see Jack Rhodes next, but Jack's not appeared yet. No.
That was William Willis in the Sportsman buggy, the only one of the Class 3, and he is racing the desert to get that P1 this weekend.
Scott Timken and Matthew Dillon are next in the Superlight B, Can-Am X3 XRS.
And the first of our Superlight A buggies up next, Jake Williams in the Yamaha YXZ 1000.
Must say, I'm pretty impressed with the curtains.
Very impressed with the curtains.
How big a difference is that making, I think? It's huge. Man, whoa, Taco is having a wrestle with the needle at the moment. Wow.
Jack Rhodes, the next car through Deep Well, 7 minutes 50. The time 7:50.25, which means that when it pops up in our timing screen, we'll be able to tell you that he is still in third position overall with a time of 33:12.8 through to Deep Well. So Jack Rhodes still in third position overall on the track and third position on the elapsed time. Jono Patterson and Kevin Petit from New South Wales.
Reed Petit.
In the Nissan-powered JT Lustrum buggy.
The Jeep.
Next up through Deep Well, Bo Robinson. So he is on a charge with Shane Hutt from New South Wales in the navigator seat. Through Deep Well at 7:51 and 14 seconds. Let's find out where they are in terms of the elapsed time.
Mark Reynolds and Andrew Caulfield leave the line in the Extreme 4-wheel drive Jeep. CJ7 with the 5-litre Ford on board. Next up to the grid. Oh, sorry. Michael and Lisa Phillips.
11 seconds faster than Jack Rhodes to Deep Well was Bo Robinson, so he will slot into third position on the elapsed time at the moment. Still sitting fourth in the running order, obviously.
Now that's a whole new concept and a whole new stat that we haven't considered. A 1-2 for brothers in history.
Well, it's happened in the bikes. Can it happen in the cars?
Yes, it's happened in the bikes. Just trying to think through. 30th anniversary, 30 years of statistics. That won't take us too long to work that out. So that could be a new little bit of history that could possibly be made. That's the 657 of Ewan McClue and Richie Nyhouse, the Victorians in the Can-Am Maverick X3, Superlight Bs. And our good mate Boost Juice is up next. Brent Smoothie and Michael Briggs.
Looks as though Brent Smoothie is not going to be taking his place.
Hey. I'd be able to tell that if I didn't have such dirty windows, mate.
Because next up,
Yeah. So that means that takes us forward then.
to Brett Kaminsky. I think you've gone forward.
Have I?
Brett Kaminsky and Corey Cooper. Never mind the commentator here, the number one man. In the box, the Can-Am of Brent Kaminsky was up. Then it's Ewan McClue in the Can-Am, and then it's Brent Smoothie.
Then it's Boost Juice, righto.
But it is still not Brent. No, it is. They're calling him up.
I do apologise. I don't know how I missed the numbers. I was following them down, but we've got about 37 screens to look at here as well as our program. Hello. Jay, where we got Gartner.
Through in a time to Deepwell of 34 minutes and 1 second, so he will stay fifth in the order of the lapse time. Fifth through Deepwell, Greg Gartner and Jamie Jennings.
So interestingly, even though the Jack Rhodes, according to the chat that we had on the phone,
Brad Gallard as well through Deepwell, so he's made up some time on Greg Gartner with a time of 34 minutes flat, which means that he is just under a second quicker than Greg Gartner.
so despite the fact that Jack Rhodes looked like he was going quicker than Shannon Wrench actually opened up that gap.
Wow.
By about 20 seconds.
Toby Price through Deepwell in a time of 33 minutes and 37 seconds as we've got someone off.
Yep, that's
That's Jim Dwyer and Aaron Merchant in the Pro Light buggy. He's taken a quick exit of the track, but we talk about Toby Price, 33 minutes, 37 seconds. That puts him up into fifth position in elapsed time. So pushing hard. Trevor Taylor. Is late to leave, so we're not sure what's happened to Trevor Taylor, but he is on his way now. Next up, the Chevy Silverado. Steve Kidley and Chris Jones from Queensland.
Adam Swindale and Casey McGregor next to go in the Superlight B. And then the guys who've won the most prize money so far this weekend, by virtue of their whole team taking the top three positions in the Pit Crew Challenge. Adam Beale, Cohen Beale, his son there, navigating. And all I can say from the other night was, if they've got to change a tyre, pretty sure Cohen won't be doing the job.
I reckon they won't be having a wheel brace in the car this time. It'll be an impact wrench.
Adam Swindale and Casey McGregor away as the Beale boys from South Australia get up on the Jet Tech entry and away. Cool looking little bus. Like, as much as they look very, very standard, as soon as that comes out of the packing crate, it's a new roll cage. It retails for somewhere around 30 grand, but he believes it's sort of cost him somewhere closer to 80 actually, which is interesting. And the number 666, I said, is that intentional or just the way the cards fell? He said, no, absolutely an intentional number. He said, this thing has been evil. And that's why he called it that. Not because he's some enthusiast of evil, but because the car has been.
Speaking of 666, the 6660. Another one of the Superlight A's is off. Dean Terry and Jordan Terry from WA.
Dean Terry, a sprint car driver out of Western Australia formerly.
Well, this is substantially less power than a sprint car.
Yeah, well, it's only a 360 at least that he used to campaign. The 602 is away. That's the Schneiders. Michael and Sophie Schneider, the Can-Am Maverick, the Superlight Bs, as we move up to grid number 78. As it clicks over to 2 minutes before 8 a.m. on a beautiful Alice Springs morning.
Still no more vehicles through the first checkpoint.
I guess at this stage we're looking for Chris Coulthard, Andrew Moles, Mark Burrows and Glenn Owen. Michael Marson, Hayden Bentley still to come through.
There we go.
Toby Price.
Chris Coulthard. Chris Coulthard through deep well at 7:57 and 57 seconds to go, a time of 35:44. So he will stay where he is on the road.
And 3 minutes and 7 seconds behind Toby Price. So you can just see that the big mover really is Toby Price at the moment, by virtue of the fact of catching up to the back of Brad Gallard. And maybe, just maybe, he's tapping on the tail end like he did to Bo Robinson last year.
That was David Lachlan and Jackson Klein in the Can-Am. Number 611 getting underway.
The Close boys are next, Brad and Caleb Close from Western Australia, the Polaris Turbo.
Bush Chook Racing.
Ah, yes. The Suzuki Sierra, not known for its extensive wheelbase, is next up. And what you should do then, once you do that, is then put a 6-litre Chev in it and see if it fits. Clearly, they have put that in there with a shoehorn, jimmied it in, bolted it up, and that's what it sounds like. Such a sleeper, isn't it? Love that thing. So that's Nathan Duffield, Paul Brandt. What else would you expect from Queenslanders in the Extreme 4-wheel drive? Jason and Peter Neat are next up in the Polaris RZR 1000. It's interesting, as much as we talk about it as a bit of a cliche, but it truly is such a family sport, this, isn't it? And a family event where I would say the majority of these driver and navigator combinations have got some sort of blood connection. It really is amazing.
Absolutely. Well, long time friends.
Yeah, that's right. The Mongrel Dog is away, and I'm not talking about my co-commentator. I'm talking about the guys who've just left. It's Jason Peter Neat, as Tim Dewhurst and Tim Scott, New South Welshman.
Wow.
Another Polaris. Hello, what have we got?
Travis Robinson through Rodinga at 8 o'clock and 15 seconds. We'll wait for that to pop up onto the timing screen and tell us exactly how quickly he did it. Andrew Moles through deep well also. So the order of the way they left here from Alice Springs hasn't changed. So 45 minutes and 3 seconds to get through to Rodinga for Travis Robinson and Trent Anthony. They're still in front. Rick Norris, Troy Clay in the Pro Truck 6-litre Chev, the Alice Springs Tourist Park entry. Mean sounding machine.
Mean sounding machine. Nick Jackson, Lauren Johnson, Can-Am Maverick. Next to go. 2J Racing. As it's 2 minutes past 8 almost. Glenn Ackroyd and Andrew Cassidy coming up shortly. The Polaris RZR 1000. Superlight Bs continue. Amazing how so different.
Aftermarket exhaust, almost like a motorbike. Glenn Ackroyd in the Polaris RZR 1000. As we look now to the screen, we see Brad Drummond in the 4.2 litre turbo diesel smoke it off the line.
Look at all the grid ambassadors and the local mayor there just struggling to breathe.
Have a look down south and look at the dust just hanging there.
Oh, wow. Good observation. That's just it's a cloud, isn't it?
You can see it all the way down as the track heads off into the distance and over the horizon for us. As we see Glen Owen through deep well, which means only one thing. We've seen our first passing manoeuvre for the day.
Ah, yes.
Mark Burrows not through deep well. He started inside the top 10. Glen Owen has made the pass on Mark Burrows.
And they've dropped the kids off at school, albeit a Sunday, and they're up on the grid.
First of all, though, Bryce Washington and Gary Cannell in the Yamaha YXZ 1000 leave the start line to head into a big, thick cloud of dust.
90th position, Jeff Pickering and Dylan Watson. And the Mitzi Pajero.
Michael Marson through deep well, so Mark Burrows experienced some difficulties by the looks of it. Hopefully it's something that they can fix to get going.
That thing looks so clean, doesn't it?
Very professional outfit, the Jeff Pickering racing team. He even has a number plate on that thing.
Yeah, I know. It's impressive, isn't it? Phil Lord and Dallas Lines.
Dallas Lines. Away in the 669. You spoke yesterday about the manufacturers for the bikes and how many was in each one. Can you tell me how many Can-Ams there are?
I can do a bit of research. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, next up, Daniel McKenzie, the YXZ 1000 with Garth Hannaford. And the 6651, the double six, at the start of the number, representing the naturally aspirated version of the Superlight category. He's away in his first attempt at the Finke Desert Race. As we see Hayden Bentley through deep well, and we see Shannon Wrench through Rodinga. So the first two cars are through Rodinga on their way to Finke. 48 minutes and 37 seconds for Shannon Wrench to get to Rodinga, so some 3.5 minutes slower than Travis Robinson. Over the elapsed time, Hayden Bentley, Benny, through to deep well in a time of 39 minutes and 12 seconds. As we see Christian Mingay off the line in his Extreme 2-wheel drive. The Mickle Fab Raptor. Beg your pardon? Sam Barnes and the Cracker Coldy Racing is through to deep well. The 179, the second of the prologue entry, the Pro Light entries, I should say, through deep well. 39 minutes and 37 seconds his time through the first checkpoint on the road. We're still waiting for that third car, Jack Rhodes and David Polino, to be through Rodinga, the second checkpoint of 5 on the way to Finke. As we see the second of the Sports Light entries. That is that of Waylon Jagged in the second Solidico buggy. Another one of the single-seater entries. It's got the Subaru 2.5 litre powering that Solidico buggy. It's 8:06 and he is on his way.
How many Can-Ams do you reckon there is?
Next up, Corey and Darren Greening, more family teams heading off south as we see the first of our American competitors, Matt Loyerdace, through deep well in that Jimco 6-litre Chev. Can-Ams, I think there are 29.
36.
Oh. Jack Rhodes through Rodinga at 8:07 and 12 seconds. So we'll wait to see what his elapsed time is on the timing screen. So 3 cars through Rodinga as another car passes through deep well. That is the number 3 of Stephen Sanderson and Talia O'Cass, the 6-litre Jimco trophy truck. Jack Rhodes' time, 49.59 through Rodinga. So he is a minute and 22 seconds behind Shannon Wrench on the elapsed time, as Stephen Sanderson posts a time of 40 minutes and 31 to Deepwell, and Matthew Lloydace was 40 minutes 22, with Ian Baker leaving Alice Springs, Queenslanders in the Pro Light.
Andrew Theologidis and Tyrone Power, both from Queensland, the Nissan Patrol.
I just hogged all the names right up until that name.
I noticed that, yeah. But that's okay, because that gave me time to just go through it and run through it in my head a few times. Theologidis, no problem.
Theologidis on his way.
Michael McLean and John Stewart. Next up, the
Bo Robinson. Sorry to cut you off. Bo Robinson through Rodinga. And his split time through the second checkpoint is 50 minutes and 18 seconds. So he's still some 19 seconds on the elapsed time behind Jack Rhodes, sitting fourth on the road and fourth on time. Ryan Taylor in the Method Race Wheels entry, the number 6 Pro Class buggy through Deepwell. Michael McLean in the 489, the latest car to leave start line area. Less cars out to our left hand side now. Benny.
Daniel Sislowski and Tara Sislowski. Polaris RZR 1000, 101st grid. Alan Muir and Courtney Muir. Up next, the Yamaha XYZ 1000R. Then it's about to get loud again with Leighton Sir and Joe Nobleza. Yeah, from the Northern Territory in the Ford Ranger. The Burdekin Motorsports entry is away.
David Fellows through Deepwell in the 3.5 litre twin turbo Geyser Brothers trophy truck. That was the second of the Peter Kittle entries.
If you want to get your audio recorder on your phone, now's a good time to do it if you're here live. This thing sounds so nice. Leighton Sir and Joe Nobleza's Ford Ranger, but you call it, yeah, just a thumper, isn't it? It's what you call a fraud, not a Ford. It's a Ford with a Chev in it.
Very nice.
Which most people who drive Fords are frauds anyway, but that's okay. It's just a...
We're going to start that debate.
Yeah, we probably are. Considering my son just bought a Ford, his first car, what happened there? He's now officially been taken out of the wheel, but that's all right.
Greg Gartner through Rodinga.
Have a look at those split times there. Is there any clues as to what's going on there?
They're still the same as they are on the road through Rodinga on elapsed time. We're just waiting for Greg Gartner's time to pop up on our checkpoint screen so we can see the exact elapsed time. There it is, 51 and 41, so he's another minute and 23 seconds behind Bo Robinson over the elapsed time, so still sitting fifth in the road, but Brad Gallard was quicker to Deepwell, and Toby Price was quicker again to Deepwell, so we'll see what happens when those two guys pass through the Rodinga checkpoint.
Mitch Cross and Chris Cahill got away, and now Paul Moult and Michelle Moult as probably one of the coolest looking cars here this weekend, in fact. The Nissan Patrol with a 5.7 litre Chevrolet on board. Travis Rosethorn and Stuart Sefton. And the Langy?
We can tell you that Mark Burrows is a DNF.
Oh no.
And he's got his checkpoint as Alice Springs, so not far down the road for Mark Burrows before he finished, but further down the road at Rodinga, Brad Gallard through at 8:12 and Talbot Cox through Deepwell at 8:11 as we see the all sixes. That is that of Royden Bailey and Hannah Bailey leaving their Yamaha YXZ 1000. Brad Gallard through Rodinga, his elapsed time 52 and 10. So Greg Gartner pulling away from Brad Gallard through that section. 6 cars through Rodinga as the 6605 leaves Alice Springs. Caleb Gotts and Russell Henry as one of the camera crews in the chopper sits above the start line precinct. Plenty of media here this weekend covering this absolutely massive race.
Just gets bigger and bigger as we...
There he is, Toby Price through Rodinga with Luke Hendry, the 487 machine, through at 8:13. And we'll just wait for their time to pop up on the other monitor, as that was...
Les Shivers and Michael Crosdale.
Thank you.
The Can-Am Maverick X3 Rotax Turbo.
One of the 36 of them.
Nice.
Toby Price, 52 minutes and 6 seconds to get to Rodinga, so he is exactly 4 seconds in front of Brad Gallard on the elapsed time. So Travis Robinson shouldn't be far away from the third checkpoint on the road, Bunduma. As we see Nick Smith in the Polaris RZR Turbo 1000 leave the starting line here. The 6683, the latest car to go. The Crammon team, Andrew, Samuel and Sophie, taking turns through the seats as Darren Agrila in that number 39 chrome painted buggy has made it through Deepwell. The Western Australia team, Agrila and Stuart Allen. The next guys through Deepwell. Have a listen to that thing. 6672. Peter Dennis and Peter Jenkins, the two Peaks in the Arctic Wildcat.
So if you've just joined us, the big news is that Mark Burrows, the 5-time champ, has retired on the side of the road. The first guy to beat the bikes back in 1999 has unfortunately seen his 2017 campaign be the first to retire. Australian Motorsport Hall of Famer, who's done off-road racing in Australia proud by becoming a part of that illustrious list of people. It's wonderful, isn't it? You have a look down at the some of the spectators, and they've obviously got a blood connection, and they're waving and blowing kisses as they drive off. It's just quite cool. It means so much. It's such a massive, massive achievement. It's like, I guess, in the athletics world, if you do a marathon once in your life, you can say, I've done a marathon. And you know you've got your family and brothers, next door neighbours and sisters and parents and alligators, trainers, whatever, all around you, cheering you on. It's the same in motorsport world. This is the marathon.
Absolutely. Chris Coulthard now through Rodinga. A few more cars through Deepwell. Matthew Martin, Bryce Chapman and Paul White, and Harley Letner through Deepwell, the latest car.
Pretty sure you've never said, oh dear, issues off the start line for the Raglan Drilling entry.
That is a terrible start to their Fink Desert Race campaign.
Oh, what is he going to... He's pulling over to the side. And that'll have to be... Oh, that is tragic.
First time we've seen that.
Gus Lacey
this
and Chris
weekend.
Vollmer.
Unfortunate news for them as the crew.
Brand spanking new vehicle too. Has he got... Hang on.
Hang on.
He's limping. And is he going to keep going, or is he going to, he's going to turn right and off the racetrack? That's a heartbreaker. So now, will they work on the car and find out what the issue is?
I think
and
they might
keep
go out
going?
and have a look.
It's a massive deal to come all the way here and then have the car die in the first 200 metres. First 100 metres. The FJ Cruiser just got off the line. We're only
Simon
making the
Dean
comment.
also off the line, and the good thing for him is he's now got a minute of clear dust.
Yeah, that is true, actually. That's a great advantage, isn't it? Jody Allen and Brandon Taylor in the FJ Cruiser were making the comment yesterday that as rough as it is on that racetrack, that would be a pretty cool way to go down and see it.
Absolutely. As we see Brett Taylor, Tatts Finke and Peter Costello all through the first checkpoint, being deep well. So far we've had 8 cars through Rodinga. Chris Coulthard, the latest of them.
Pete and Michelle Bolch.
Schmoken.
Away, and that's a 6682 of Scott and Sonia Henshin.
And the Schmoken Can-Am Maverick.
We've got to put our heads together and work out something that we can do. Oh, hang on, we're starting to see the truck get going. It sounded more like a firing issue, like an electrical issue. It looks like he's under full power now.
So it could be a long day for Gus Lacey in that 475 Extreme 2-wheel drive. Looks like he's back underway, but whether he has sorted the issue out, we're not sure.
Yes.
Next of our competitors to get away was Gary Taylor, meanwhile.
Still not really going hard.
No.
Okay, a little bit hard to work out what's happened there because they've got back going, but not particularly fired up. It's a little bit hard to describe and work out where they're going with that. But anyway.
Mark Peterson and Anja Strauss. And the Yamaha.
Anya.
Okay. Andrew Moles through Rodinga. His elapsed time 56.22. So he is the next through the second checkpoint. We should see the lead car, number 13, Travis Robinson, through Bundooma very soon.
Nathan Shears and David Gordon on screen.
Bruce Muir and Mark Hendry through Deepwell.
As we wait for the start for Tony and Nigel Critchley. With a Cherry 1100cc on board there. It's unique. And a little bit of Yamaha power, the second of the Yamaha powered buggies. Heath Moore and James Foster Green, the XYZ 1000 Superlight A.
Our Orange 19 Pro buggy from WA, Troy Schoen. We have Rod Visser in the 157 Pro Light as a DNF. So he didn't make it to Deepwell either. Just a quick update there.
And that's going to be tough too because he's on his own. And so it's like, oh man, how do you sort these issues out when you're on your own? You haven't got anybody else there to help you. Just trying to find...
Sorry, just quickly, I'll jump in there. Travis Robinson is through Bundooma at 8:21 and 17 seconds. So Travis Robinson still in the lead. We've got Glenn Owen also through Rodinga, the 10th car through Rodinga. Travis Robinson's time to Bundooma, 1 hour and 6 minutes. We'll have to check that out on previous results as to how quick that is.
Just wondering if that's the Nissan Patrol of Ben Nixon and John Harkness down there with
Sure
the lights
is.
are blazing.
Sure is.
Yeah, look. Come to the start at the right time, and it looks like they're turning around. Oh, man.
I think they had dramas yesterday too. They sort of limped across the line.
So, that's a scratching, unfortunately.
Jason Adami, the husband and wife duo, Jason and Jane Adami through Deepwell, as well as the first of the Super Lights are through Deepwell, Toby Watley and the Can-Am Maverick. We've got Gus Lacey, that 475, as a DNF, so unsure if he has pulled up just around the corner. But he has come onto our screen as a DNF, unfortunately, for the guys from WA.
So what was scheduled to be the last guys off, that's Tim and Tom Margich from South Australia in the Land Rover, the 4-play Land Rover. There's still one more on the grid, and that's the 608.
Oh, there is something, some out the top of that. I'm not sure where it was coming from, but I could see it with the background. You can see some of the steam. It's coming out of, I'm not sure what it is from, but it doesn't look great. Tony Watley, the second of the Can-Ams through deep well. We also had Scott McNeil in the Pro Light, as well as Michael Marson through Rodinga. So Michael Marson travelling along quite well through the first 2 checkpoints, the 11th car to head through there, as all the cars have left the start-finish line as we wait for the official sweep to take off and clean the track. Chris Browning, the latest through deep well in his Lumicraft.
Look at that thing steaming up on screen. Surely that's not right.
No, that's, I'm thinking that's why he may...
Sounds just like it's labouring something fierce, doesn't it?
I think it's David Ellsworth and Christopher Johnson from Queensland.
Okay.
But through Rodinga...
That's true. And Matt Roach.
Through Rodinga, Hayden Bentley and Viv Coe are through Rodinga in their racer trucks, so their time 58.19 through Rodinga, the second checkpoint of this 230 kilometre journey south from our position. We wait now for the second and third cars to head through Bundooma. We've had the first car through Bundooma is the lead car, the WA pairing of Travis Robinson and Trent Anthony. We might take a short break here at the start-finish line and come back with some more results as they come to hand.
What do you think they're talking about?
Who knows? Hair, shoes, makeup, girly stuff.
Doubt it'd be anything we're interested in.
They definitely don't look like they belong trackside, that's for sure.
Look, check out that 350 LS1. You can't compete with that kind of torque.
Sure, raw power, but a 3.5 litre turbocharged V6 definitely has the upper hand.
Maybe, but let's talk about reliability. With turbo spinning at over 100,000 RPM on a track that rough, anything can go wrong. A naturally aspirated V8 is unbreakable by comparison.
Yeah, well that's all well and good, guys. Gonna ride a full 50 in this race when it's clear the 500cc 4-stroke is what you're gonna need to podium.
Yeah, totally. Who wants to be revving their bike hard through those whoops?
G'day, I'm David Walsh.
And I'm Conan Robertson.
When I'm racing, I'm focused on getting to the finish line first, so I need spectators to stand back from the track and give riders and drivers the room they need.
On Peak Weekend, thousands go camping along the track, looking to have a good time. So keep your fires small.
Take your rubbish home,
drive safely,
and keep Finke fatality free. This year, do us and the Finke Committee a favour by following these simple steps to keep safe and keep the bush clear of rubbish.
Can't be much simpler.
Don't be the reason.
Ready for the ultimate festival of wheels this Father's Day weekend? Red Centre Nats is back with more than 700 of Australia's best street machines. Australia's #1 stunt show, Matty